Know someone in your life celebrating a birthday? They deserve to feel truly celebrated. That's what 1-800-Flowers has helped people do for 50 years, turning everyday gestures into meaningful moments of connection. And this April, during their 50th birthday celebration event, when you buy one bouquet, get a second bouquet 50% off. Celebrate more birthdays with our 50th birthday event all April long at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast. Buy one bouquet, get a second bouquet 50% off at 1-800-Flowers.com/podcast.
Breaking news for your home. Wayday. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Wayday long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Wayday. Shop Wayfair's Wayday from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Names can shape destinies, but what happens when a name becomes a carefully orchestrated piece in a much bigger game of identity and belonging? Today's story about Dr. Omar Alpha Flint shows us exactly that.
The symbolism of naming someone Alpha in 1843 is fascinating. It's like programming their entire future right from birth.
And Dr. Flint certainly lived up to it. He became this pillar of society, a respected physician who understood legacy wasn't just about emotion, but about careful arrangement. What really catches my attention, though, is how calculated everything was.
Especially that marriage in 1906. A 62-year-old established doctor marrying a 31-year-old woman. That's quite a strategic move.
Well, that's exactly it. This wasn't some great romance. It was a practical arrangement between a man who had already buried his first wife and raised children, and a woman who understood survival required adaptation.
You know what fascinates me about Mary Jane? She came from Quebec, had lost family members, crossed borders. She was already familiar with reinvention before she even met Dr. Flint.
Right. And she's stepping into this incredibly structured world where everything was already established. But here's where it gets really interesting. This child, Foster, born in 1911, doesn't become a Flint until 1918.
So the timing there is absolutely crucial. Foster doesn't become a Flint until after Dr. Flint's death. That's not coincidence, is it?
Not at all. And let's talk about how these estates were handled back then. It wasn't this quiet, behind-the-scenes process we have today. They had to publish notices in newspapers for 3 consecutive weeks.
Like broadcasting to the world. If you have any claim to this estate, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Exactly, and here's what's fascinating. These notices that were meant to create finality sometimes did the opposite. They became ammunition for future disputes when someone showed up years later saying they never saw the announcement.
The whole process seems designed to minimize risk while maximizing control. It's like watching a chess master thinking several moves ahead.
And speaking of control, let's look at how identity was managed. Foster lived 7 years of his life with one name before becoming a Flint and only after Alpha's death. That timing tells us everything about how belonging was controlled.
The psychological impact of that must have been enormous. How does a child process the idea that their identity needs to wait for the right moment?
Well, that's where Mary Jane's role becomes so crucial. She transforms from this young bride adapting to an established household into someone who literally reshapes family connections. It's like watching a student become the master.
And all of this happening against the backdrop of early 1900s society, where identity and belonging were such rigid concepts.
You know what's particularly telling? The judge's signature on Foster's adoption papers. Not confident enough to suggest pride, not weak enough to suggest duress. It's like even the signature is trying to maintain this careful balance.
That detail about the signature really captures the essence of this whole story. Everything had to be just so, perfectly balanced, perfectly timed.
And here's what makes this story so relevant today. It shows us how belonging isn't just about emotions or relationships. Sometimes it's about timing, legal frameworks, and carefully managed transitions.
The way you put that makes me think about how we still manage identity and belonging today. Maybe less formally, but still with careful consideration of timing and circumstances.
Looking ahead, all these carefully arranged pieces are setting up something bigger. It's like watching the first act of a play where every detail matters for what comes next.
Well, that's what makes this story so compelling. We can see the foundation being laid for something much more significant.
And as we wait to hear more about Foster's story, we're left with these questions about power, belonging, and who really gets to decide when and how someone becomes part of a family.
These carefully orchestrated moments from the past still echo in how we think about identity and belonging today.